Stasis is about to get better in a lot of different ways. Right now, the game's Stasis is already relatively strong, with Shapebinder being at the top, but the Hunter and Titan has some pretty unique builds that are very good for in-game content and arguably some of the highest DPS you can do if you pair it with certain mods. Obviously on the Warlock, they have their Stasis turrets that can pretty much control an entire room no matter what level of content you're in, and pretty much every aspect of all three of those are going to be getting buffed in next season's patch. Now, alongside all of that, as you saw in the title where I put Season of Stasis, I think we could actually potentially see a season based all around Stasis. The reason I say that is because all our other previous seasons for 3.0 have been Void, Solar, and Arc, and now I think as the last hurrah before we get Strand, we could see some Stasis based mods and it could be involved all around that, since we are getting a lot of buffs for it. But talking about the buffs, let's start off with the first one, Stasis Slow. This is going to increase the movement speed penalty while slowed by 10%. So what this means is if you have a target slowed, now they're going to move 10% slower than what they normally did before. And this is going to be extremely good for Hunters and Warlocks. Obviously with the Warlock Stasis turrets, they're going to slow even more now. And if you're playing a Hunter Dustfield build, you're also going to be able to slow enemies for a lot more as well. Pretty much anything that involves slow on Stasis is just going to be a little bit better now. And if you take the Fragment Whisper of Endurance, it's going to prove that slow even more as well. Now next up we have Cold Snap Grenade. Cold Snap Seekers can now adjust its trajectory for 0.5 seconds after creation rather than immediately finding a target and traveling toward their last known position. So this seems more of like a PvP change, but I guess it does technically work in PvE as well. I think what it relates to is that the cold snaps are just going to be able to find targets easier, since Osmiomancy gloves are pretty much the go-to for in-game PvE Warlocks due to the fact you can throw double turrets. But I would imagine this change is also going to be a lot nicer, so your Icer Bolt can always hit an enemy rather than sometimes it misses. But like I said, this is mainly for PvP change, and I think Osmiomancy gloves in PvP is going to be even better now, and that was already one of my favorite builds to run in the entire game. All right, well now we have Dustfield Grenades. Increases the slow stack of application rate on players by 13%. Now unfortunately this is just a PvP change. It would have been nice if we could have got that extra 13% towards PvE combatants as well, but this specifically says it's only for Guardians. Now in PvP this probably will make Dustfield a little bit stronger of a grenade, and already with this relatively low cooldown, I definitely can expect to see some potential with this on top of the other slow buff that we're getting as well in the patch. But unfortunately again, this is just for PvP, but this would have made some fun PvE builds and would have amplified the Hunter Dustfield build even more, but alas, this is what we get. Now we also have some changes to our fragments. So we have Revenant Hunter's Winter Shroud fragment slots going to increase from 1 to 12. If you don't know what Winter Shroud is, this is the one that's going to make it when you dodge, you're going to create a slow field around you. This is actually a very fun aspect, and I used to make builds around this way back in the day. You could definitely expect to see more updated builds with this, with the fragment slot changes, because just adding an additional fragment slot can completely change the way a build works, because you do get more access to a lot of synergies. I think this is going to be a very fun change, and I would definitely keep an eye out for it. Now we also have Behemoth Titan's Cryoclasms going to increase their fragment slots from 1 to 2 as well. Cryoclasm is the one where you slide, you get that increased movement speed and distance, and it can shatter stasis crystals. So I think this could be very fun for build potential as well. I don't think it's going to be as good as Winter Shroud's buff, but if you want to play into an Iceall build where you just slide into it and shatter everything, I think that is going to be a lot more viable now than it was before due to its one fragment slot. And even in PvP, I think this might be a lot better as well. So definitely be on the lookout for that, but I am for sure more excited for the Winter Shroud buff. But now we have Shapebinder Glacial Harvest. Reduced cooldown on stasis shard creation per 6 shards from 15 seconds to 10 seconds. This is actually pretty huge. If you watch my most recent stasis perfected build, you know this is one of the main aspects I take in the build. You can pretty much just always make sure you have mods up if you're running things correctly. And since you are getting that cooldown reduced to 10 seconds, what this means is that if you picked up your max amount of shards and say you have something like Phantomite proc, which lasts 10 seconds, both cooldowns are going to go away at the exact same time, which then again, you can proc things like Phantomite if you're running the right mods, and you're never going to have any downtime with it. There was a little downtime before due to the 15-second cooldown. You kind of work around it in a way, but this is just going to make that even easier, and I think this is a great change, and I'm excited to see how everything's going to improve from this. Now finally we have Whisper of Rending. Now provides bonus damage to stasis crystals and frozen targets for all primary ammo weapons rather than just kinetic primary ammo weapons. I think this is a great change. I think this is definitely one that's going under the radar a lot, and if you don't know what Whisper of Rending does, even from that description, this is the one where you can pretty much do more damage damage to stasis crystals and targets with your kinetic weapons. This is getting changed to all primary weapons, so this means energy weapon types as well, since that is a primary weapon. And being able to pair this with certain fragments is going to be very nice, even if you want to throw this on a Shadebinder build, just so your primary weapons can do more damage to all the targets you're freezing with your turrets. That could also be really good because now it's not limited to kinetic weapons. This also means things like Aegis Scepter or Cryosthesia, you can do more damage to the frozen targets when those guns are very easy to freeze targets in general. So that's pretty much all the stasis changes. What I'm most excited for is the Dusty Hunter build. Also with the Hunter as well, Winter Shroud is getting buffed for that extra fragment slot. That's going to spark a lot of really fun builds. Whisper of Rending is also a very nice change. The Glacial Harvest change is very good. I think the Titan was the one that got the least cool changes compared to the Warlock and Hunter, but I mean, Cryoclasm is cool. And Behemoth Titans are already pretty good because it's just extremely easy to spawn those crystals, which means that can correlate to high DPS if you are running the right mods. But I'm very excited to see how this is going to perform next season. And hopefully we will see a season of Stasis. Like I said before, we've had all our 3.0 subclass seasons. I think putting a Stasis one in there before Strand could be a very cool idea. And I think we could potentially see something like that. But anyway, that's going to do it all for me. Let me know what you all think about these Stasis buffs. And if you guys did enjoy and would like to see more content just like this, consider subscribing, dropping a like, and turn those notifications on. Also, if you'd like to join my Discord or follow me on any of my socials, all that will be linked in the description below. But just know watching this video is way more than enough, and that every single bit of support from y'all is truly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching this one, and have a great day. Peace.